What is happening, people? Good evening, where we are in the world. How is everyone doing, man? We're back with another transfer update. Even had some news thrown in there that I've just had to add in the description. Wow, something that I didn't see coming, and we'll speak about the interest in Georginio in just a moment. Which is, yeah, I'm scrambling for thoughts on that one right now, but we'll go through it together, shan't we? In the live chat. Shout out to everyone in live chat, and if you're watching replay, of course. Before we get into it, housekeeping as always, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments below. Thank you to Arinda and Wraith for their super thanks in the last video. And thank you to Thomas, who's become a member of the channel. Thank you so much, Thomas, who joins the other members that support this channel. And if you want to do that and help me out, help the channel out, the link is in the description. So guys, hey guys, what's happening? Yeah, well, Mike is saying afternoon. That's what I'm saying. Morning, noon, night, wherever you are around the world, man. And listen, we the Joe Roden, Archie Gray stuff is all done. We're not going to go through this again. Everything is on the last video, what I've done earlier today. So if you haven't seen that, please go back and watch that one. Shout out to Man United fans, sliced bread Ed in the house. Yeah, Paul saying lads back in preseason today. Yeah, and I was going to say that I was going to open with that. The bright stuff, because even for me, when I see the players, even though I know some of them aren't going to be there, it's nice to see them back, isn't it? Club football is where it's at for me. I've always said that. That's why when anyone ever asks me that question of would you rather see an international team win a cup or your club cup win a Carabao Cup? Oh, I'm taking the Carabao Cup tomorrow, next week, and the next month after. I'm taking it all day long. So yeah, it's nice to see him back. Obviously, we know everyone is not going to be there, but everyone looks at being big spirits. Of course, someone behind the camera could have said, "Hey, we're shooting." And everyone's like, "Ooh, hey!" But it looks great to see everyone back. After such a disappointing end to the season, looks like people are refreshed. I got to say as well, Somerville's video that he put out on his Insta, and we're going to obviously speak about Somerville. He looks in tip-top shape, man. He looks in excellent shape. He looks better than last season, and he was in great shape then. He looks even better now for however that is. But, I've always said if we were to keep Somerville, it would be the best deal of the season. But it is very, very unlikely, as we've had more news coming for Somerville in that, and this is from Mike Verwij, I think his name is. He's a prominent Dutch reporter. I've seen his name around a lot, so I trust him. I trust him to report it and put it on the screen. But yeah, PSG have registered an interest in Somerville. They obviously joined Chelsea and Liverpool, who are very, very heavily interested in Crysencio. So, and that's an interesting wrinkle, isn't it? Because Somerville and PSG, for me, it makes a lot of sense. Saw somebody earlier say about replacing Mbappe with Somerville is a bit of a downgrade, but I think PSG, what they're doing is they're looking much like we're going to have to do this year. It's quite ironic, but they're looking to round out the squad a bit more instead of just being Mbappe FC. They've got star players there already. I'm not trying to disrespect PSG. They've won the French Liga many, many times, and that could be something enticing for Somerville. They're playing Champions League football. He's going to get games there. Let's not make any bones about it. He's going to play there, as I think he'd play for any of the Premier League teams he'd go to. Somebody in the comments before was talking about Luis Diaz. If he goes to Liverpool, will Somerville get a game? Somerville, for me, is more composed. He's maybe not a better dribbler than Diaz, but Diaz is just chaotic. But when you look at Diaz's numbers and you consider what Jurgen Klopp's system was, which was attack, 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 he had 8 goals and 5 assists. You're not getting anything done. It's just pure chaos there with him and Central C up front, Darwin Núñez. So yeah, for me, I think Somerville gets in those teams, and it's telling. But now with Archie Gray going, and FV White is saying it here, another 40 mil incoming. The great thing is with the Archie Gray deal being done is that we don't dictate the whole transfer. We can't. We're in the Championship. But we can demand what we want in terms of a deal we will accept. So it can't be a case, it won't be a case of, any little cheap bid comes in for Somerville and we accept. The 49ers will make it a deal that is worth it to us. And by all means, and from everything I've heard, Somerville is not anchoring for a move, much like Archie Gray wasn't anchoring for a move. But if a deal is agreed between the clubs and permission is granted, they will explore their options, and that's their right. That's their professional career, I'm afraid, people. And of course, I'll say it again, just for the people, that's the price of not getting promoted. So, Somerville PSG, it makes a lot of sense to me. What are you guys saying? Hero, I'm going to say Hero, yeah. PSG better pony up 40 million minimum. I don't see why not. I mean, it's different positions, different scenarios. We know there's English tax in it, English hype as well when it comes to Archie Gray going to Spurs. But my lord, guys, Somerville, you know, how important was he to us last year? You know, I don't go with all those award types, player of the year and everything, but he was outstanding. He was literally our player of the year. And I even remember in match reactions when we weren't doing too good, he was at least the one trying to get the ball and do something with it. He was the one driving us forward with his play. And he looks like a fish out of water in this division. Let's face it. Like I say, if we get to keep him, I'd be amazed, first of all, but I'd be over the moon because he is the definition of a cheat code in this league. It's too easy for him at this level, way too easy. The defenders are just not good enough for him when they're trying to take him on. But I do think 40 million is in that ballpark. I think it would. I don't know about the optics. I think you got to look at the optics too. If you sell Archie Gray for 40 and then Somerville goes for like 25, that looks a bit weird, doesn't it? It looks a little bit strange to accept that kind of money for a star winger like this who is just 22 years old. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. There's big clubs involved. It's only the big clubs. We're not talking Everton here, with all due respect. We're not talking Everton. We're not talking Palace. We are talking Liverpool, Chelsea, PSG. These are the tippy top clubs, people. So it will be big money. Tom saying, be gutted if Somerville goes, but if the price is right, anyone is for sale. Yeah, this is it. And I mean, we're going to get onto Georginio in just a moment, which is one that I just did not see coming. I don't know if anyone else did. But it's not a case of if you sell one or if you sell two of them that you get to keep the others. It's all individual situations, people. It is. And as much as I would love to say on here now and just say, yeah, if we sell Somerville, of course we're not going to sell Nanto or Georginio. I know football doesn't work like that. And I think at this stage, people, you guys should too. But I think people just think that if we're going to sell one or two of them, that we're going to get to keep the rest. It just doesn't work like that. But then you are relying heavily, and I mean you're relying heavily on making sure your recruitment is airtight, and I mean spot on. Because what you're losing, if we lost Somerville and Georginio, yeah, it might be a sticky one still, not gonna lie. mm. Jed here saying 40 million and told them we can do a deal for them to get Millier for 20 million as well. Just a twofer. Just give us some more money, yeah. Um Ash is saying, you think we'll have a fire sale? That is what everyone is worried about. I don't know about a fire sale for me, Ash, and I'll make this clear. Fire sale for me is when we almost went out of business under Ridsdale. That's a fire sale. You move from almost getting 9 million for Lee Bowyer one summer, literally 6 months later. I think it was 6 months later, he was sold for 350,000 or something like that to West Ham or wherever it was he went afterwards. 5 million for a player like Harry Kewell, Woodgate for the price he was. That's a fire sale to me. This is more, if we can keep them, great. But if bigger clubs are interested in them and they pony up the money that's right for Leeds United, then they may have permission to go. It's very hard. What I'll say to people, what you have to remember, we're in the championship, and it's very hard, especially with players like Somerville and Georginio, to say to them, no, you're staying no matter what. You've got a better bargaining chip if you're in the Premier League and you say, no, look, man, we've just been promoted. Give us a year, and if you excel, we'll talk about it next summer. You've got more of a conversation there. When you're in the championship, people, you can't tell that to these players. And I'll throw it back to you guys. Forget the last part of the season. For most of the season, everyone was saying we have got a few players here that are way too good for the championship. So isn't it only right that they are linked with bigger moves or moves to the higher leagues? I think that's correct, don't you? Kevin here saying, I've said this elsewhere, but I cannot see Somerville, Nanto, or Rutter leaving Leeds. I cannot say why. I just have a feeling none of them will go. That is hope, Kevin. I love it. Hey, listen, that's all we have as human beings, man. Hope. That's all we got. That's all we got. Ryan, KG, you might have to go get your boots out. It's funny. I was looking at those those Nike Airs that are going around the Euros at the minute. They are beautiful boots, man. Absolutely love those. Or the Adidas F50s. But yeah, I think my playing days are done. You know what I'm saying? Andy saying, for the right price, anyone will go. Yet there's another story that I want to talk about, but we're going to leave that for tomorrow because it deserves its own video in terms of who stays, who goes. But that's the situation we're in, people. If this was an ideal world, I wouldn't be talking like this. I'd be saying, no, man, we're keeping Somerville, we'll keep Nanto, we'll keep Georginio, we would have kept Archie Gray, but it's not. We've got rules to comply with, which have been reduced with our parachute payments in terms of outgoings and everything else like that. We've got to work within certain parameters, but Paraga's already said we will push it to the limit as much as we can, but it is going to require a couple of player sales. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on the Somerville one, but this was one that I did not see coming. This one came, like an RKO out of nowhere, people, because I mean, this is pretty fresh, I will say. It's pretty fresh. But Bering Cross, and it's been reported across multiple outlets now, which I did check before I came on. But Adam Pope here just confirming, as per Bering Cross, Leeds United rejected 30 million offer for Georginio after previously showing interest in Somerville. Bid apparently came in after Brighton had signed Minte for a similar amount. Now, that is someone. Oh, listen, hold on. We've got a new member. Hey, Richard, thank you for joining as a member. I appreciate that, Richard. I always see you. You support the channel a lot anyway, so shout out to you and salute. But I did not see this one coming, so we're going to have to talk about this one together because Georginio, for me, I thought with the price we paid for him, it was unlikely, and that's the word I use. It was unlikely that anyone would get anywhere near 35 million for Georginio, and we'd probably have him for another season. I'm still erring on that side that we may have him, but Brighton have had this bid rejected. What's to say they don't come back in with a more improved offer? What happens then? What do we do then? Now, I would hope that someone like Georginio or, even some of our other better players, I would hope that maybe there's something there to say, you know what, I'll stay another year. But it's rare that happens, though, with players of those kind of calibers. I've already seen people say about Georginio, if you can get 35 million, sell him, he can't shoot. But guys, I always, like with Archie Gray, who got no goals, there's going to be improvements with these players. Georginio is a young guy. He's only 22 years old. And yeah, I think he only got let's check. Did he get 7 or 8 goals? I always forget which one it is. He got 7 goals. Okay. Who's to say this season he doesn't have a monster year and get at least 15? It's not out the realm of possibility with a player of this talent at this level. Make that clear. So it's not just, you're not just losing 7 goals from Georginio. You're probably losing a plethora of new goals that would come with his improvement of playing for a second year at this level. And we know what happened with him towards the end of the season. He wasn't right after his hernia up. He fell off, and that's fair. But overall, last season, for people to have such a short memory of what this guy did for us, if it wasn't for him and Somerville, I don't know if we ever get 90 points. I don't know if we reach them. They were integral to our attack. So now 30 million. Wow. It is good, Paul. It's pretty decent. Yeah, 22 goal contributions in 48 games is good, to be fair. And yeah, and he's, once again, no matter what Daniel Farker tried to say last season, which he then turned around and undid his own mistake, he's not a striker, and he never has been a striker. He's a forward, and he's a creative forward, and that's what we got him for. And I do think he will improve on his goals. I think his shooting will get better, but I hope we get to see it, people. I guess this is a story we're going to have to look at, but I'll ask you guys, if we were getting back the 35, or let's say Brighton, sweeten it up to 40 for Georginio, are you accepting? I'm asking you. I put it out to you guys. I'll let you guys answer. Radiby Leeds with a super chat. Thank you, Radiby Leeds. As fans, we just have to assume that almost all of our better players could be gone by the end of August. 36 Crazy Fist. It is the way it is in the Championship, sadly. Yeah. I mean, look, all of our better players. Let me take a sip. Yeah, no. Someone, Matthew saying his shooting can't get worse. Sell. Nate saying no way. No, a no from him. Keenan here. Keenan, sometimes I see your comments in the video comments sometimes. You're a funny guy. Just say that. Some of your opinions are very funny. But yeah, Keenan here saying, yep, it's good business for Georginio if you get over 40 million. No, what it is, Keenan, you know what the last one is that you said, which made me laugh, is that we didn't get De Zerbi. Sorry, I don't mean to out you like that, but it made me chuckle. See, that's a good thing. You made me laugh with that comment, man. You said we missed out on De Zerbi, which is quite funny. Like, Deserby's ever come to the championship. But yeah, Robert saying, yeah. Paul saying, would hope we could keep Rutter for another year, and going into the Premier League and keeping him there. I think he's a very good option, more than a good option to be in the Premier League with the team. Keenan saying, man, I keep it realistic. Tremendous, tremendous. Jasbo saying, definitely accept 40 million. Okay, so there's a few people that would sell. Very interesting, very interesting. The way I look at it, on the other hand, though, is I would love to keep him just because in this league, I think that you need some stardust to differentiate yourself. Like if we turn into another like Norwich or West Brom in their current iterations, I'd be worried about this football team. The fact that we do have a Dan James, the fact that we do have a Georginio, the fact that we got Mateo Joseph still here, Ampadu, Strauch, Roden, you can say that now. Roden is here permanently. The fact that we've got these kind of players gives me assurances that we've got more than a solid base and we are going to add to it. You start taking out Somerville, who I expect to go, but now you take out a Georginio. That was literally half of our attack last season, probably more if the percentage is right. That just worries me a little bit because now we're not just thinking about Brendan Aronson as could he be better? It's like, damn, he has to be better. He has to be better than what we've seen of Brendan Aronson over the last couple of years. Because remember, people, he is staying. Let's have a look. Hyru saying, I'd rather sell Nonto than Somerville, but if a good offer is on the table, then Somerville can roll out. Well, both of them may roll out. We'll see with Nonto. There's no actual teams linked with Nonto at this point in time, just saying. But, there is going to be interest out there for him of a player of that caliber. Because for me, he is a high-level player. I think you get the best out of Nonto in a better league. I do. Jed saying, no chance KG's contribution would be hard to replace. I do think that too. As frustrated as people got with him at many times, I had to say this in about 15 videos after the matches, but as frustrating as it was that he lose the ball, eventually at this level in the championship, it worked. So whether it was his 14th time of trying to get through 2-3 people, it happened most of the time. And that's why his assist rate, that's why his playmaking rate, his big chances created are so high because he was that creative. You need these kind of mavericks for me. I love mavericks like this. So anyway, Richard saying here, I was one of those people questioning what we had bought when he arrived, but boy, did the kid set the championship alight last season. Quality player, yeah, and he didn't get a fair shake in the Premier League. We saw what happened with Georginio. He was being brought on for ridiculous moments, and it always sticks out in my mind, people, when he was brought on when we were 4-1 down, and another game we were 5-1 down. It's like, okay, what do you want him to do here? What are you after from Georginio? What do you think he's going to do here? And then obviously we get to the end of the season where we need points, and then you find Somerville, Nonto, Georginio on the bench. Yeah, it was a shambles in the Premier League, but yeah, he got his foot in the championship and looked amazing. Absolutely. Ira here saying, caught your life here in Idaho, USA. Idaho potatoes. Let's go, Ira. Thank you for joining me from where you are, man. Love to see that. Hey, listen, hey. Imagine the assists you would get with a top striker. Well, I foresee Joseph playing more. I think Perot will play more. Listen, we got a conversation about that tomorrow. We'll leave it for tomorrow's video. But yeah, you got a real striker in front of you, like a Joseph, who's more nimble, who's more lethal, natural finisher. His assist level rate is probably higher too. Okay, so David here saying Schmodix, Georgie, no context. Yeah, not heard anything what's happening with Schmodix so far. In fact, I haven't looked in the last couple of days, so maybe something has come up with him. I don't know if a Premier League team is going in for him, but again, I would have loved to have seen Sammy Schmodix here. But now with Aronson staying, let's see what happens with Georginio. I don't know if there's going to be any room for him. I don't. And like I said to you before with my list, a number 10 isn't on that list at this point in time. But like we've seen with Meslier, interest from Marseille, things can change all the time. They can change all the time. Lewis. Farker is Southgate from Neto. I hope he improves his team selection and usage. Tremendous. Sai in the house. Thank you, Sai. Super chat from Sai. Much appreciated, man. Paul saying, felt sorry for Rutter that year. Price tag wasn't his fault, and then the managers didn't pick him. Yeah, it was crazy. Maybe maybe we did pay too much for him, but like with Tottenham paying for Archie Gray, they've paid for potential rather than what he's done now, and that's what we did with Georginio. But yeah, it was unfair assessment. I didn't get the slander he was getting because he was not getting ample opportunities to play. And I remember when he came on against Spurs, actually, at our last game of the season when relegation was confirmed, and he came on, and as soon as he came on, he was opening up the play. He was opening up the pitch. Unfortunately, he had a bunch of scrubs around him, but he looked like he belonged there. He looked like he belonged, but he just wasn't given opportunities. But yeah. H here, will Rutter go out wide because of Aronson? I would hope so. That is my hope in terms of Georginio. I would love to see him out wide because that is his position. We've been bamboozled into thinking that he's a striker, which I hope no one ever fell for, by the way, no matter what Farker says in his 13-minute rant. He was never a striker. Yes, he can play 10, but his best work comes from wide right and cutting inside. That is his best position. And yeah, I would love to see him do that. And then, if Somerville does go, then you stick Dan James on the left because Dan James is adaptable both on the right and the left. Because if Dan James is cutting in, you're not unhappy with that, are you? So yeah, think about that. James and Rutter on the wings, man, in the championship. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. But yeah, we need to see what's happening. We need to see what's happening with Georginio. This will be interesting to see if Brighton come back in or if there's any other interest elsewhere. I was going to mention these are a loose link, so don't take these as anything new. But we was previously linked with Bright Osai Samuel, who used to play for QPR. If you remember him a few years ago, used to be an out-and-out winger, but he's more of a wing back, right back these days, which I think is much better for him. And he's improved his game big time. He's going to be leaving Fenerbahce. Southampton are very, very interested in him, but Leeds had interest in him in last summer and this January just gone. So I don't know if he's going to go back. I've seen quotes from him just last week saying he wants to play Premier League football. But hey, maybe like Joe Rodon, if a Premier League team doesn't come in for him, he'll come down to the Championship and see us as a vehicle to get to the Prem. But if we were to go in for someone like this would be brilliant. Very, very quick down the right. We'll get up and down, no problem. Brilliant cross on him. Has got an eye for a goal too. Hey, I would absolutely love a signing like Asai Samuel. And guys, I don't know if you remember this. Let me get this up. I don't know if you guys seen this because you know how it can get a little crazy in Turkish football. I think you might know, but this is Samuel sticking up for a teammate who was getting rushed by a fan because there was a big pitch invasion at this Fenerbahce game, and this fan had hurt one of his players, so he just got on top of him and was starting to wallop that boy. It was insane. So you got a fighter on the pitch. He'll look out for his teammates. One of those. So yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any legs to it, but if there's any further developments, of course we'll talk about it then. But again, if we are looking at a player like Bright, this would be brilliant. And the other one is a centre back called Jordan Tuanaraya. He is 26, Nigerian international at Ghent currently, left-footed centre back, which kind of throws up a question. We've been linked with him through a few outlets, I should say, and it just makes you think that is it going to be Max Verber that is going to leave, or is Liam Cooper not signing the contract? But yeah, it looks like we are looking at another centre back, and clearly it's going to be a backup one because Pascal Struijk is number one. Saw Pascal in the video today. Looks fit. Look, he looks bigger than before, which is quite good. Because he's a dominant centre back, and just think of him with a little bit more size, he'd be even better. So yeah, it obviously would just be for the squad and to give us other options at centre back area. Hopefully, someone Daniel Farr could trust if we ever get into a pickle. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed. But yeah, this is one to look out for. And if anything further happens, we'll speak about it then. David, yeah, listen. Last time right on the Bright picture, yellow card. That's tremendous. David here saying back to Georginio, Rutter is what you pay a ticket to watch. Yeah, he is one of those players, and there's very few of them around these days. Very, very few, but he is worth the price of admission, especially when it's going right for him. He's wonderful to watch. I know Farker tried to get the joy out of his game a couple times last season, but yeah, no, he's wonderful to watch, isn't he? He is one of those kind of players that you pay to see 100%. Matt saying, where did Kipre end up? I know a few of you have mentioned Kipre. I'm not sure where that's even come from because I have not seen that being linked on the news, but I think he is going out to Turkey. Don't quote me on that, but I think he is heading out to Turkey. Let me just, while I'm here, man, while I'm live, let me just have a look for you. You ask the question, I'll deliver. One of those. So, well, Okay, well, this is the first headline that comes up in regards to Kipria. West Brom defender absent as Baggy's preseason steps up. So I don't know. He's obviously still a West Brom player, but I think he is on his way out. So there we go. But I have not seen any links with Leeds United, so I can't really add to that. Mr. P with the super chat. Thank you, Mr. P. At Nero, watching London Life going by and catching KG live for a change. That sounds good, man. That sounds good. I prefer Starbucks myself, but that sounds good. And watching me sounds great. Sounds awesome. Hopefully, more announcements to be made. Can we get the Georgian manager? Shout out to you, Mr. P. Love that. Thank you for that. MJ Slim, who's your captain for this season? Well, Farker's here. Farker's here, isn't he? So it's going to be Pascal, isn't it? It wasn't Pascal his designated captain. But if not, it's got to be Ampadu for me. I know a few of you think Joe Rodon. I kind of get that. He's definitely more vocal. Yeah, you know what? Maybe even Joe Rodon, actually. Now he's signed permanently. It's not a bad shout. Yeah, Joe, you know what? Joe Rodon is actually a really good shout. Just remembering things of him leading from the back last year, his utter dismay when a certain player picked up the ball for a penalty and missed it because he knew he was going to miss. Yeah, you know what? I could see Joe Rodon being someone that can keep that squad together. Yeah. But yeah, I'm good with either or. Ampadu, Rodon, Strauch. I'm cool with any of those. In all seriousness, I should say. So yeah, there you go with the Kipra. I don't know if there's anything else. I think I've got everything, and then you guys and myself, we can go watch that Turkey knockout game. That is it, people. That is it for this one. I will be back though, because there is another topic to talk about, but I'm going to leave that for a completely separate video. You guys probably know what the topic is. But yeah, listen, people, before I go, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop your thoughts on anything discussed today. It's been a pretty packed show for under 30 minutes, and I'll see you in the next one, people. Be good. Peace out.